Hi everyone! So this week we're going to do something a little bit different from the last couple of weeks. I'm going to put my character discussions on hiatus for a week because I'm going to be doing a little reflection on this semester. So for those of you who don't know, the two viewers I have that aren't from my class, I was doing these reviews as part of a class project that was basically to follow a work of serial fiction, like a TV show, comic book, whatever, for a whole semester, and then basically blog about it weekly. And so I actually started out doing actual text posts about Young Justice, like doing basically what I was doing in video format but in the text post. And then about halfway through the semester, Professor Chow challenged us to change things up a little, and so I decided to go with the video blog format. So today is just going to be like a reflection on how this project went for me, what I thought about it, what I thought was good, what I thought was bad, etc. So let's get started. So, I really enjoyed doing these blogs/vlogs for Young Justice because it's really nice just having like a consistent outlet to talk about my favorite TV show. And also the project helped me like stay accountable and actually helped me actually keep up with the show, because considering the fact that I'm in college right now and I don't have a TV, like it's kind of difficult for me to keep up with this show. So like I was always a week behind just because then I could wait for like the episode to come up on iTunes and things like that. But it was nice because this was the one show I kept up with throughout the semester. I think every other show I would like occasionally watch things, but I'm behind on every other TV show that I watch. But I was like, I'm on top of things with Young Justice. Of course, it's over now, so I can't stay on top of it anymore, but it's the idea. And it was just also just really fun to just show other people this TV show that I love so much, because I feel like every time everyone's like, oh, what kind of TV do you watch? I'm always just like, oh, I watch cartoons on Cartoon Network. Yeah, I promise I'm an adult. Yeah. Anyway, so initially I started out doing text blog posts because I was kind of trying to stick with a more traditional format, and those were actually not as fun as I thought they were going to be completely honest, because they just took so incredibly long. Taking notes during an episode, which I had to do even when I switched to videos, like, that just doubled my episode watching time, because it's a 30-minute episode, well, 25-minute episode, but then taking notes and, like, pausing every 30 seconds to, like, type out things ends up making the show take, like, an hour to watch, which, I didn't always have an hour, which is why sometimes I was just, like posting these blog posts at, like, different times, even though I was trying to keep them all coming out on, like, Friday or Saturday. And so, like, also writing up a summary and analyzing it was extremely time-consuming. I think it also took me, like, another hour to write a blog post, and because I was writing, like, I was trying to explain this to people who had never seen the show before, which is really difficult, because there's so many characters in this show, and so I was always trying to, like, link to pictures of characters and, like, show scenes, that way, like, people got an idea of what was going on, and that just took so incredibly long, and I had, like, 20 tabs open with different, like, Google image searches of, like, Lagoon Boy and stuff like that, and so that just, like, it really made me realize how complicated this show is, because I, like, was like, oh, this show, like, I never usually, like, you don't really realize how complicated your TV shows are until you try to explain them to people, which I talked about in another blog post for class when we were talking about TV in general, but it was just, like, a very, like, oh my god, why is this show so complicated? How do I explain it to people? And so, like, at mid-semester, Professor Chow, like, challenged all of us to, like, change things up a little, like, either, like, the format or just, like, the way you were approaching the reviews and things like that, so I kind of took it, like, kind of extreme, and not only did I switch mediums, so I was doing videos instead of text, I also started doing it in a less, like, now I'm talking to someone who doesn't know anything about the show, and I started doing it, like, as I was just talking to fans of the show, which is so much easier. Like, I ended up doing some plot summary anyways, just because it helps me, like, talk about the episode, because, like, go through things chronologically is a lot easier, and also, like, keeps you, like, from getting too, like, tangential, which I have a problem with anyways, but it's still, like, I didn't have to be like, well, this guy is this person, and this guy is this person, and this is the relationship they have with each other, which just made things so much easier. And then, I've been contemplating doing video reviews since the very beginning, because some of my favorite Young Justice reviewers, cough, Mango Cyrene, cough, they do video reviews, and I figured those would be fun, easy, but I wasn't sure, like, if that was okay with the class and stuff like that, and I also was like, does anyone want to listen to me ramble for, like, 15 minutes? So I ended up not doing those, but then because Professor Chow challenged us to do something different, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go for it. And so, like, I don't know, it was just a lot more fun this way, and I didn't have to type up coherent sentences. I just had to have bullet points, and then I could just ramble about things, which was great. And then I felt like it was also much more expressive, because I could just, like, convey my feelings much more, whereas with the, like, blog post format, I was just sounding really, like, boring, and, like, I had to, like, write out transitions and do things, and, like, with this, I can just talk, and it's a lot more, like, free and expressive. Though, of course, this did lead to, like, a decline in the level of, like, analysis and, like, intelligence in my reviews. They became, like, increasingly more fangirly, which is kind of an issue in general that I struggled with, but it was still, like, a lot more fun. It was also still difficult to be concise, because I rambled in text, and I rambled when I talk too, so, like, I don't know, I mean, everyone noticed my videos were all, like, 10 to 12 minutes long, so, like, but it was just, there was so much to talk about, and also because I talk a lot. But anyways, like, it was just so much easier and so much more fun to do the video blog format, and it just made me feel like I enjoyed doing these posts more than having to be like, it's a chore. I have to watch this show and then write a blog post. Gross. And so, I don't know, the character discussion videos that I did once the episodes ended were a lot of fun, too, because I basically just got to gush about characters that I love, which, I mean, are all the characters, but still, it was just, like, it was great to just be able to be like, here is this person, and let me tell you why I love them. But those tended to get sidetracked a whole lot more because I didn't really have, like, a plot to follow. Like, I would try and talk about their, like, arcs from Season 1 to Season 2, but then I would talk about, like, their friends, and then, like, why I thought they were cool, and then, like, their DC Comics origins, and it was a lot of fun, but probably slightly more disorganized than, like, the episode reviews. And, like, I have a really detailed summary going on for this post, so this is actually going pretty well. I'm proud of myself. Anyways, so just some, like, general thoughts I had regarding, like, doing, like, TV show reviews is that, like, staying concise, I already talked about this, but staying concise is really, really hard. Like, it's difficult, like, how do you balance, like, plot summary and, like, analysis and then just, like, flat-out fangirling and just keeping everything in a format that's, like, easy and approachable, because no one wants to watch, like, a 20-minute video, but, like, still, like, enough depth. And I don't think I've quite reached that balance yet, because as you can see, I'm at, like, 7 minutes and 30 seconds in this video, and I still have a little ways to go, anyways. But also, like, my other big struggle was, like, trying to be analytical, because I normally, like, I mean, I really wanted to review Young Justice because it was my favorite TV show, but I normally don't analyze my TV shows. Like, I'm not that person who sits there and is just like, well, if he does that and she does that, it means this thing, and, like, it's foreshadowing this thing and that thing, and, I mean, like, maybe I do this, like, subconsciously to a certain degree. I'll be like, oh, well, obviously those two are gonna get together, because I think everyone does that while they watch TV, but I don't really, like, critically analyze my shows. I'm kind of that person who just, like, goes with it, and I'm just not a very intellectual TV watcher, even though, like, I really don't like watching, like, mindless comedy. I like watching shows that are, like, intellectually engaging, but I don't intellectually engage with the show probably as much as some other people do. I normally just, like, watch my show and then, like, go on Tumblr and read other people's commentary about it and be like, oh, I didn't think about it that way. So it was very interesting to actually try and analyze the show myself, because I wasn't, like, this isn't something I normally do. And then, like, it was just, I don't know, it was especially difficult as, like, the action picked up and as the season went on and things got more emotional and intense, and, like, all of my favorite characters started coming back, like, because, like, Artemis would, like, not be back for a couple episodes, and then she would come back, and I'd be like, I just have a lot of feelings! So it was very difficult to, like, stay emotional, and I'm pretty sure, like, the show became, like, my reviews became, like, oh my god, I have so many feelings, especially, like, Endgame and such. But then, like, I think it also helped because I started paying attention to a lot of, like, the little things in the show that I hadn't really noticed before. And I mean, like, I'd noticed them before, but I hadn't really thought about them. Like, I don't know, I actually went back and, like, looked at some of my old reviews before doing this, and I was like, I talk a lot about, like, really random throwaway lines that, like, I was just, like, really struck by, or, like, weird moments where I'm like, but that doesn't actually make that much sense. And it was just nice to, like, I don't know, it was nice to, like, see and feel like I was just, like, paying attention to all the small details a lot more in my effort to try and, like, make sense of the story analytically. And it was difficult, because then I would sit there and be confused for long periods of time if I was trying to, like, work out what something meant, and then I usually would give up and just move on. But, like, it was also, like, an interesting way to approach TV, because I normally am just watching it and I'm like, oh, look, it's my favorite character, look at them doing things, oh, yay, oh, I have a lot of feelings. So, like, it was nice to actually try and approach TV, like, in a more smarter way. See, oh my god. Anyway, so, like, I don't know, in general, I think that this was a really, really fun and, like, interesting process for me, and I don't think that it was, like, more bad than good. I think I really enjoyed it overall, and it was a lot of fun overall, and I learned a lot about, like, TV watching overall, and I think that I would probably want to try and do this for another show in the future. Like, obviously, there isn't going to be any more Young Justice. I mean, like, we're praying that we'll renew it someday, somewhere, somehow, but in the foreseeable future, we don't really know, and so I might try and do this for, like, Season 2 of Legend of Korra when it comes back, whenever that may be. And as you can tell by this little, like, bit of the review, I do watch a lot of cartoons, so yes, I am that person, but I'll probably try and do it for another show. I mean, maybe if not Legend of Korra, like Elementary, or like Game of Thrones, or something like that, other things that I watch. You get an example of my TV tastes. But, I don't know, it was very, like, interesting, nice to, like, actually try and approach TV intellectually and, like, become one of those, like, legions of YouTube reviewers. So yeah, that's basically how I felt about this thing this whole project this semester. And next week after, maybe not next week, depending, because that's during reading period for finals, but either next week or the week after, I will be going back to my regularly scheduled character discussions, and we'll be talking about Superboy. Alright, bye everybody, thanks for watching / keeping up with my weirdness / not, if you didn't, throughout this semester, and yeah, I had a lot of fun. I hope you guys did too.